How's everybody doing? Good. Good, real good. It's game week finally. It feels like it, I can tell you that. I had to go down and see Rob yesterday, get some Tums. Normal game week for a football coach, get Tums and make yourself feel good. But we obviously got a great team coming in here to Pittsburgh to play us, Youngstown State. Got a lot of history with them, as you guys know. I think you've written about it a few times. And, not only a good football team, but a great coach in Bo Pelini, who's, been around, coached a lot of great football teams, and I think been to the last 8 bowl games and 9-win seasons for a bunch. So you're playing one of the top coaches in the country. He's got a president that's a heck of a coach as well, and Jim Tressel. So he's got support there from the top down as well, like we do with Chancellor Gallagher. So super football team. They've got great talent. When you look at them, they're going to have some Division I transfers. They may even pop up some guys on the roster that you didn't have on the 2 deep. There's some guys you don't have tape on that transferred in there, so they're going to get a lot of Power 5 division transfers in. You got a couple of Nebraska transfers, so you're going to play a good football team that will come in here cranked up, ready to go, without a question. And our guys got to be ready to go. You get 12 opportunities at this. They don't give you one back. We've got to be prepared. We've got to be great on offense. We've got to be great on defense. We've got to be special on special teams to come out with a victory. If you look at their 2 deep, they've got 14 guys from the state of Pennsylvania on their team. And when I look at that, those are the first guys I narrow in on and say, okay, I know who those guys are. I know where their heart will be that day. They will come in ready to go. Probably guys that would have liked to have played at Pitt, didn't get recruited for whatever reason, and went there and will have a grudge, I guess, when they come to Pittsburgh. They'll have some family there. I don't know how many guys on the total roster. I'll let you guys figure that out. But on the 2 deep, there'll be 14. It'll be exciting. It should be a ball game again. Like I said, Bo Pelini's been a head coach for a long time, and it'll be a great atmosphere. Just on another note, away from the game a little bit, I guess. We had a little rehearsal scrimmage there on Friday with our football team, and at the end of the scrimmage, awarded a couple scholarships out to some of our players that were walk-ons. The first one, George Ashton, fullback who's done a great job for us, almost gave him one at the end of spring, but I said let's wait till the fall. He will play a lot of football for us on not only offense but also special teams. He's done a great job for us. It's tough. I mean, he's what Pittsburgh football is all about. And the other one is, and I'm not sure how many of you guys know about this or not, but Mark Scarpinato as well got a scholarship, and I think some people assumed, I don't know what's out there. I don't read all the rumors and blogs, but I think a lot of people assumed that maybe he came here on scholarship, but he came as a walk-on because I wanted to make sure he earned it. He spent a year away from the game, and to me it was a risk. But it's been no risk at all when you watch the guy come in. It looks like he's never been away from the game. He came into camp in shape, and he's just gone like that the entire time. So we're going to get some great football out of Mark, and we're happy he's on this football team, and he will definitely contribute. So with that, I guess I'll leave it up for all the questions you guys got. Excuse me? Yeah, we've got a few more. We got some time and to give those out, and we'll probably give them out, but just kind of see who emerges here in the next couple of weeks.
Obviously, don't try to overlook any game, but just having an established coach like the league, coaching-wise, that legitimacy to the players.
Say that one more time. Okay.
I said this having an established coach like the league help add legitimacy to this game for the players.
Well, I think so. I think for them, for sure. I mean, I'm sure they've got – Bo's a super coach, he's been in these games. He's been on both ends of these games, I'm sure, and he'll have those guys ready to go because that's what he is. He's an emotional coach, as you know, and it'll definitely be a bonus for Youngstown State. I've coached against him for years, so I think he kind of knows what I like. I know what he likes, so there's a lot of familiarity with what he's done. They've obviously we played him when we were at Michigan State for 2 years. We had him on the schedule for 2. They took Illinois to the wire a year ago. This is their season. I mean, they're going to open up against a Power 5 team, and I don't want to say it's all their whole season. I guess they'll play it both ways, but they're going to put everything they got into it, and you'll get their best shot for sure. And our kids will know that.
So you personally, does it add a little bit to you for the first one as a head coach to be against YSU, the place where once Ursuline played in the background there is YSU, and you have the Queen factor in it, Ursuline, Moody? Does it just add a little bit for you emotionally?
It does, but you can't let the emotions get to you. You know, it's great to go out there and play against someone you know. Like I said, I got a ton of respect for Bo. We went out and visited him probably 5 years ago at Nebraska because we're friends and talked ball for a couple of days. So obviously being Ursula Mooney, it plays into it. But you know what? When it comes down to it, me and Bo aren't going to play one down. And we're just going to shake hands and get a little hug pregame, and that's about it. And then let the players take it over. So, you know, how much does that really play? You know, the bigger part, I think, is those players from Pittsburgh that are on their football team that are coming back home and want to put a good show in front of their families, you know, in their city. That, to me, is a bigger show.
What does it say about Brian O'Neill that after all this work transitioning from tight end to offensive line that he was able to win a starting job on the line?
Well, you tell me. I mean, he's a heck of a football player, let me tell you that. I mean, having 20 practices at that position. And, again, tight end, you know, it just moves over just from the right to the left or left to the right. I mean, he's moving one spot over, so he's blocked before, so it's not like it's the first time he's ever blocked. It's not like we moved him from wide receiver to tackle, but he's been a blocker. He's understood technique all through spring ball and understood the concepts that we've got going on up front. But he's going to be a tremendous offensive tackle in the ACC conference. And in my opinion, if he keeps, you know, going like he is at the next level, I really believe that. I mean, he's a big athletic guy that can run, and so I'm looking for great things. And again, he will get better as the year goes on. Are you going to see a polished Brian O'Neill in the first game? Probably not. But he's only going to keep getting better.
Staying on that topic, I mean, depending on Artie's availability, is it still possible to see Books are out at tackle, or
you can see a little bit of everything. I mean, we're going to rotate guys in and try to give some guys different looks. You know, they're very multiple in what they can do, and you know, and I think you can see some of that as well.
What's your feel on Artie right now?
I feel like Artie's going to be ready to go. But we'll see. You know, he hadn't practiced the last, you know, maybe week, but you know. A little bit out of precaution, a little bit of just making sure. And like I said, he started with a bang, you know, early, and I was like, holy cow, I can't believe this guy. You know, I thought Scarpanardo would be rusty. I thought Artie would be rusty, and neither one of them were. So, you know, that we know that already. So we're going to be careful with him.
How about Daryl Bender?
Yeah, he's not listening too deep, and you know, but I probably did this too deep, EJ, maybe a week ago. But he got a full lift in yesterday, and I wouldn't be shocked to see him. He'll be dressed. I guarantee that. You know, and you know, there's a good chance he plays too.
Coach, if there's one area of your defense that you're most eager to see in a game setting, what would it be?
All 11 guys.
I know.
All 11.
I know.
Just want to make sure. We need 11. I mean, you know, it doesn't matter. We need 11 guys, and I'm not eager to see any one position or, you know, front four, fronts, you know, linebackers, DB, it doesn't matter. They all have to play good to win football games. And I'm anxious to see all of them, honestly.
What are your thoughts on where the receiver battle is with, you know, Challengworth of Zeiss on the depth chart right now?
You know, it's, you know, shake them out right now, throw them out there. I mean, Zeiss has had a great camp. And, you know, like I said, you look at some of these, the depth charts and where they are, it won't necessarily be that by game time. We've still got a lot of days to go. I told the guys last night here in the team meeting that, hey, that depth chart, at least in, you know, ours might look a little different than yours, but you know, Challengworth and Zeiss are both going to give us a lot of time on the field. That's for sure. Who's the third guy in, the fourth guy in, who knows? But you know, the way football is going nowadays, it's not like you're playing out there with, you know, your first team and you don't see the second team. And we're rotating guys in there on the D line, at linebacker, in the secondary. If a corner goes deep one time, we hope to have a fresh guy in there, and that guy trickles off the sideline and put a new guy in there. So. Starters are great. We got some oars on that depth chart because we think they're, you know, good enough to go in there and be that starter. So I could name probably 14 starters on offense and defense for that matter. So it all depends on what personnel grouping you come out in.
And what makes you think that your defense will make an impact this season?
What makes me think that?
Yeah.
Did I say they would?
I assume
You know, we're going to find out. You know, to me, it's the no-name defense, and you know they haven't got a lot of respect. And it's time for them to show up. I mean, our offense has been something special, I guess, a year ago. And you know, defensively, you know, they got to man up and measure up to what we need to have in this ACC conference and in the opener against Youngstown. So I feel like, you know, they've had a great offseason. But you know what? You're going out there against fresh guys, new offenses, new fronts, new coverages, and you know, our guys have to adjust to it. And I think the biggest transition is is going from camp where you're playing against that same offense and that same defense every day to how do you transition as a football player to game week when all of a sudden, wait, coach, they didn't do that last week. Well, it's, this is Youngstown State we're talking about. So I think those are things that really go into the game plan and who's going to play. We'll find out who adjusts and who gets that check, who didn't listen, who didn't pick it up when they needed to.
Now, go back to your connection with Youngstown State. Obviously, as you mentioned, it's been talked about for quite some time. But now that the week is here, will you take a moment and think about how unique all of this is with your first game coming against Santa?
Not really. I don't have a lot of time to think about it or worry about it, Again, I got a lot of great memories, at Youngstown State, And, when I think about them, I like to think about the positive things. And, I was a ball boy out there. I threw a lot of balls out to referees, in a lot of games. But, there's just great memories there for 11 seasons and a lot of football, a lot of wins at Rand Stadium, at Austintown Fitch Stadium, at Stanball Stadium. So 3 different stadiums and, a lot of memories.
How's Darren Hall look so far making that transition from high school to college and also working back from that injury he suffered senior year?
Yeah. He had an injury in his senior year? Darren has looked really good. He's a polished back. He's very intelligent. He's strong. He's physical. He's got burst, and we're excited to get him going. And he's going to play for us this year, and he's been on special teams as well. So he's a guy that can do a lot of different things, and he's got great hands out of the backfield. So we're looking forward to getting him on the field.
Some of the spots that have four starters, like the one outside linebacker and strong safety.
Mm-hmm.
Tackle. Do you kind of have a plan, like this guy works the first 2 series and then we swap out the second 2?
Well, some of those we will. Here's how I am. I'm trying to be a fair head football coach, try to be a fair defensive coach when I was a defensive coach. We're going to play the guys that deserve to play, number one. And, the starters that are on there that say he's a starter, Juan Price is a starter, they're a starter. If it says or, it means it could be either or, and I think they're both good. But one of those guys or the other guy has not stepped up and said, that's my position. Because we could get rid of the oars, but I'm not getting rid of the oars. They got to get rid of the oars. Okay, so hopefully they get rid of the oars by themselves on game day, not by the coach just saying he's that guy. So I want them to know that, they get rid of the oars, not me. And, again, I think Caprera, and Bam are good football players, and both of them are going to get in the game, and we'll decide sooner or later, this week, whoever has a better week of practice, that, hey, you're going to take the first 2 series, we'll see what you got. And then the next 2 series, another guy may go in there. So that'll be determined. We'll talk about how we're going to play our players on a Thursday afternoon meeting.
You've got 4 freshmen listed on the 2 deep. Are those the only 4 that you were for sure going to play this year, or are there other guys?
There's other guys, there's other guys that flash at you all the time. Dane Jackson's a guy that flashes, out of need, as a secondary guy, special teams guy. And the other guy's Alan Edwards that you watch every day. You kind of go, oh, maybe we should play that guy. As a coach, you're tempted. He'd be much better if we were able to redshirt him, but he does give you some attitude off the edge. And so, I don't think he's on the 2 deep here at defensive end, but yeah, he is on the 2 deep. He is. So, there's a chance, would we like to hold him? Maybe. But, I'd like to see what he had on game day. He may just turn it loose and be like the Hulk, but, you never know. And if I don't give him a shot, you don't know. So.
But right now, these are the only 4 freshmen that you're sort of sure are going to play this year?
Yeah, and they're for sure going to play this year, for sure.
We talked a lot about the boundary safety position.
Mm-hmm.
Bill said Thursday, I think it was, that they're going to get together Sunday and count on how many days how did it come to the conclusion that Laura Whitehead.
You know what? It might not be that way anymore. Thursday, a lot happened between Friday and Saturday. I don't know what, we're going to find out. But Pat and Javante have been battling back and forth to be who's that guy, and Whitehead's right there too. So it's a 3-way battle right now, and Whitehead's really thrown a wrench in it and made it a battle. So they all do something a little bit different. They all bring something different to the table. So we're going to wait and find out, and that's another one of those positions that who's going to do it. With as few reps as Jordan Whitehead's had, you almost say he's a starter, but he's a freshman. He's had less reps than anybody out there, but he's still hanging in there. So, we expect to see a lot of ball out of him and, find out what happens when the lights turn on. His production, and just everything he's done through camp and his ability to learn.
And after being a defensive side of the ball only for so many years, how do you envision, are you going to
I'm going to keep my body out of it and let Jim Chaney and the offense do what they do, just like I'm going to let the defense do what they do. I'm going to just try to manage the game and give suggestions here and there about what we do, but try to manage the game and let those guys coach. That's what I was afforded and was able to grow from it, and I think that's what Josh Conklin needs, and also what Jim Chaney's been used to. So you got great football coaches, and it's time to coach.
You think it's going to be kind of tough, though? You're used to
Not really.
football, or
You know what? When I decided to be a head coach, there was a reason I decided to be a head coach. Or wanted to do it. It was time to say, hey, that's okay. I'm good if I don't have to do that anymore. Okay. You still enjoy it, but I've had opportunities at every scrimmage through spring ball and through the fall to let it go and enjoy watching everything and seeing how our kids compete. So it's just a whole different part of the game, and you can give suggestions, but we're going to let them play and let our coaches coach, let the officials officiate.
Speaking of the offense, what can we see this year with your team as opposed to what you inherited on offense as a philosophy?
You know what? Jim Chaney's done so much offensively through the years that you can see a little bit of everything. He's so multiple. So we'll be a pro offense, and you're going to see some of the same things we did last year. When you're going to see some stuff that they did with St. Louis and some of the stuff they did at Tennessee and some Arkansas and a little bit of everybody's philosophies, but also mainly doing what our kids can do best. So through camp, I don't know if I've seen as much offense. Maybe the last 2 years at Michigan State, just seeing a ton of offense thrown out of defense. So it's been good for our defense to see, just about every type of offense you can see. We've seen it. And, the reason an offense coordinator does that is to see how our kids pick it up knowledge-wise, and also to see what our kids do best. And once you say, you put your finger on something and say, hey, we can be that. So you try to find what your identity is as an offense and a defense for that matter, and try to play to that.
As a first-time head coach, do you anticipate any anxiousness, nervousness, butterflies on your part?
No question about it. But as an eighth-year defense coordinator at Michigan State, I was nervous for every game. You win at every game. I think every player goes in nervous. I think every coach goes in nervous, whether they'll tell you that or not. I'm going to tell you like it is. You're nervous for every football game. Period. It's you only get 12. They don't get it back to you. So you're nervous, and I think if you're not nervous, you're probably not ready. If our kids aren't nervous on Friday night and Saturday morning, they probably aren't ready to play.
Talk about playing Youngstown State. There aren't a ton of seniors on this team, but the ones that are there lost to Youngstown State in 2012. Do you anticipate that coming up at all this week?
Well, I think it might be a little bit. We'll talk about a little payback. In that respect, because to me it's it becomes personal now that happened, and I think it's great to play with an attitude, and play angry, and that's what we'll try to do is put a little anger in a bottle and throw it out there on Saturday at 1 o'clock, and I wasn't here when that happened, and I don't know much about it, but it is what it is.
Any final questions? No? Coach, thank you very much.
You got it. Thanks, guys.